Hmm.
When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at Jewel International, Gordon D. Melville.
Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome to The Long Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. Welcome to Red Fridays, RED Red, right? Remember everyone deployed. And today we got to remember them. I want to pay them homage. They're willing to stand on the wall for us. We need to remember them. So, but today we want to talk about want to disagree without being disagreeable. I think it's a task and something that we want to be able to do. It's a skill we want to be able to do. It's a tool we want to be able to do. It's a skill we need to have to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. We used to call it adulting, right? To be able to agree to disagree and move on with your life. And we seem to have lost that as a culture, as a globe on the world at the moment. We seem to have lost that. So we want to talk about that today. Welcome. Please, excited for you to find me on Apple TV, Google TV, smart TVs all over the place, Roku, Amazon Fire, Spotify, wherever you watch and listen. Please let me know you're here. If you can get into my live studio audience or into the chat. If you go in through Inspired Choices Network through our free download app, if you go in to do that, and you can find that anywhere you look for apps. If you go in there and register and then pop into our chat, my producers will give you a link into my live studio audience. But either way, if you're watching live, let me know. Let me know you're listening and where you're listening from. And if you're listening on the replay or watching on a replay, please respond and reach out and engage and let me know where you're listening from. And if you have questions or comments or concerns, or please, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I want to have that engagement. I have very thick skin. I spent 25 years in the automotive retail business. I can take a no. I can take whatever you throw at me. It's all good. It's all good. I just want the engagement. So, so that you know who you're talking to. By the way, I appreciate all of you being here. I know there's people that watch and listen, and people talk to me after the show and in between shows and let me know that, hey, you know what? I'm so sorry I didn't get into the chat or into the room, but you know what? I was here and I'm listening and I heard it on the replay and it was good in these ways. And I love that. I love that. So thank you. And again, I have my special mug. So that's awesome. Thank you. And you have about 30 seconds to find yourself a journal or something to write on and something to write with, because we got lots of stuff to give you today. So we want you to I want to make sure that you're going to want to remember it and you won't. We want to, but our brains aren't built that way. So you're going to want to write it down. So just so you know who you're listening to, I'm on a mission to positively change the lives of every man. And when I say that, I mean every man, all types of men. But my avatars are entrepreneurial men and pro athletes. But I want to help them become better fathers and husbands and human beings. I want to help them become those people that they've always really wanted to be, that they've dreamed of being, and can't seem to get there, haven't been able to get there so far. And if you can help me, I would appreciate that tremendously. Any of the help you can give me, I will absolutely gladly accept. So I am the founder and CEO of Jewel International, is a mentorship company, speaker. I do international keynotes. I'm a multi-award-winning international best-selling author multiple times. I am a champion mindset mentor, and I've been doing personal development at a really high level for almost 35 years. And so that's what you're getting. I got picked up a month and a half ago by a pro basketball team to be their mindset and energy coach. That's what you're listening to. I've spent decades literally plugging into that environment. And so people reach out and want to know stuff. People reach out and are asking, hey, and specifically for me, if you've listened to any of my stuff, you know I talk a lot about our emotional quotient, all right, our EQ. IQ is important for sure, but they've always said people typically don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. Well, that's EQ. That's emotional quotient. And as guys, we need more of it. We need as much of that as we can get. So, and if you're in a great place at the moment, that's wonderful. That's the best time to do it. So I want to help, and would like you to request that you and help me by engaging. So like this, love it, share it, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. You want to find us, go to Inspired Choices Network, go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.tv. Even now, you can watch us streaming there. You can watch us streaming on Facebook or YouTube or on our platform. But please like, love, share, and subscribe, because that helps our algorithm. It helps pay for the show, but it helps expand. And we want to do that. All right, let's get going here. Want to disagree without being disagreeable? We want to be able to do that. So right at the beginning, getting along. So I have a buddy that has spent a lot of time in the U.S. I've spent a lot of time in the U.S. And so we have some very strong opinions about politics in the U.S. And I don't want to get into what the sides of that are. My point is this: being able to disagree without being disagreeable. So the two of us bump heads. We are, and he's my longest standing buddy. So he's been around for forever. Almost 30 years we've known each other. I love him to death. He's a really, really good buddy. On this one topic, we're 180 degrees from each other. And so when we talk about it, and he'll send me a text that he knows is going to wind me up, because I have a visceral reaction. It's a reaction. It's not response. It's reaction to it. It becomes response later. But we've always talked about doing a podcast together, because people will tune in to listen to us yip at each other, like passionately yip at each other, and then turn around at the end and go, yep, hey, no problem, let's we'll put a pin in it, and you know what, I love you, big hugs, we'll talk to you later. And so we talked about doing something called Getting Along with Gord and John, because people will be shocked that we can still talk and still like each other in a climate where people now, we've been friends for 30 years, but now that you voted for whatchamacallit or whoever, or now that you think you should be masked or vaxxed or whatever, all of these weird things that have nothing to do with politics that have been politicized. But all of a sudden people go, well, I know I've known you for 30 years, but now I have to question your judgment. We can't be friends anymore. I'm like, what? Come on. We're adults. And if we all agreed on everything, it would be a very boring world. So there's going to be topics that we disagree about, but we need to be grown up. We need to be adults and agree to disagree and move forward if that's what we need to do. Understanding that the relationship is way more important than being right. Yes? Throw a yes in the chat if you believe the relationships are more important than being right. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right. I need the relationship. And so, you know what, to be able to agree to disagree, I have to be able to do that, right? What gets in our way? What stops us from not being able to do that? There's a bunch of things. Our ego gets in the way. We feel like, you know, for me to be right, they have to be wrong. Well, maybe we're both freaking wrong. Maybe we're both right. Maybe neither one of us has a clue about what we're talking about. Right. But we can, again, being able to agree to disagree, that whole piece on ego, let your ego go. Don't let your ego mess up your life. Don't let your ego shut off relationships. The need to be right. Unchecked emotions will do that. Right. We have a visceral reaction in the moment. Just, oh my God. And we blast somebody in the moment. We disagree vehemently in the moment. And once we think about it after, again, stimulus, pause. The power's in the pause. The power's in the ability to be able to stop and go, wait, hold on. Do I have all the information? Can I take my emotion out of it? Is there something else I need to know before I have some kind of a response, not reaction, response to what's being said? And maybe, you know what, maybe there's nothing to respond to. Maybe I don't need to. Is it really going to matter in a week or a year or 5 years? And if it's not, I mean, pick your battles. You want to die on that hill? And then the word knowing, they call it spelling, right? When we write, we're spelling. the words. Why? Because those words can put us under a spell. We're talking to our mind when we say words. When we read words, our brain is computing that information. So when I say something like, especially in a disagreement, hey, I know, as soon as I say no, I shut my brain off from being able to learn, because my brain goes, all right, we already understand all of that. We already know all of that. And it prevents me from being able to learn. As soon as I say I know, I shut my brain off from learning. And we got to stop that. We need to understand that there's always more to learn. As a matter of fact, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. But that's an ability to set your ego to one side and go, hey, you know what? There's volumes of stuff. And I read 5 to 7 books a month, business books. Over the last almost 35 years, 30 years plus, 2,300, 2,400 business books. And I keep learning, but the more I learn, the more I realize, Gord, there's so much you don't know. But that means suspension of my ego for a second to say, hey, you know what, Gord, get over yourself. You don't know it all. I'm still learning. I'm still putting tools in my tool belt for EQ. Because you need dozens and dozens and dozens of ways to deal with life. And so there's lots, I hear stuff and I'm learning all the time. I'm reading it, I'm learning it, I'm getting it from mastermind groups, I'm getting it from other people that are around me that I surround myself with. Who are you surrounding yourself with? If you find yourself constantly disagreeing with the people that are around you, something's wrong. Whether you're not plugged into your EQ the way you need to be, or we're being arrogant about what's going on, or I'm not surrounded by the right people. If the people around you are bumping heads with you constantly, you need to step back for a second and go, how come? Am I being a tool? Right? Am I doing something that's causing that to happen that way? And if it is, do something about it. Reach out to somebody like me and figure your shit out. Figure out what's going on. It sounds like in a situation like that, maybe the EQ is not where it needs to be. But you know what? If you're surrounded by people that are pushing back on you and bitching at you all the time, and you're bumping heads constantly, maybe you got the wrong people in your life. Maybe you need to change your community, change your tribe. Maybe. Are you willing to do that? You need to be. If you're happy being where you are, and you've heard me say that 1,000 times, if you're happy being where you are, be where you are. But if you're listening to me, that's probably not who you are. You want to move forward. You're looking for growth. You're not happy with the status quo. You're not happy with mediocrity. You want more. Well, you know what? To do that, you have to be more, you have to do more. But to do more, you have to be open to growing. You have to be willing to sacrifice who you think you are today to become who you're supposed to be tomorrow. And most people, lots of people, many people can't do that. They're not willing to let that stuff go. I need to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to give you some tips on how to. We know what the challenge is. I'm going to give you some tips, and I'm going to give you gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of tips. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you got a journal handy. This will give you a minute or so of commercial break to do that. But as we go, I want to do a quick shout out to Jose Escobar. Excuse me. He's the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up a virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. That's theentrepreneursbookshelf.com, and that's Jose Escobar. Incredible group. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have a history of success and you can fit your ego, oddly enough, into a room, then you might qualify. So reach out to Jose, plug into that group. Over 320 entrepreneurial people, over 17 or 18 countries, rapidly going, one of the fastest rapidly growing groups. in the planet in that space at the moment. But reach out to him. As we go to break here, do not forget to pause and breathe, right? Pause and breathe. Why? Because you're centering and grounding yourself. It's allowing you to soak in what's been going on, what we've been talking about, where we're going, but it'll help ground you. So as we go to break, don't forget to pause and breathe. You're with the long bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. I'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking with me. The long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. Welcome back. We're talking about wanting to disagree without being disagreeable. And I think a lot of us want to do that. We want to have that kind of a skill to be able to disagree with somebody, but not be disagreeable, not be a tool, not be toxic and nasty. And we should be able to do that. We used to call it adulting. Right? I want to be an adult. Great. Then I have to be able to agree to disagree and move forward and continue to be friends and continue to get along and continue to be civil and continue to talk to the person. All these people seem to be taking that away. So, all right. So we talked in the first segment about what gets in our way. Why do we have problems and why are we disagreeable? Whether it's ego or need to be right or unchecked emotions or the word knowing, right? We put that spell on ourselves. And then understanding that relationships are way, way, way more important than being right. I hope that sentiment connects with you. I hope you believe your relationships are more important than being right. And if you don't believe that, I would challenge that a little bit. I would challenge that a lot, actually. Being right is not more important than it really isn't. I remember a story, just really quick, about a donkey and a tiger, and they were arguing because the donkey said the grass is green. The grass is blue. The donkey said the grass is blue, and the tiger's like, it's clearly green, and he's like, no, it's blue, and they were fighting about it, and so that eventually the donkey says to the tiger, let's go to the lion. Because the lion will know. He's very wise. He will be able to tell you that the grass is blue. And so they go to the lion together. And the donkey says, hey, you know what? Can you please tell the tiger that the grass is blue? He's arguing with me. The grass is clearly blue. And the lion looks at the donkey and says, do you believe the grass is blue? And he goes, yes, but I need you to tell the tiger. And so, the lion looks at the tiger and goes, hey, the grass is blue. And the donkey gets all excited. Yay! I told you. told you. He said, the donkey said to the lion, you need to punish the tiger for arguing with me. And so the lion looks at the tiger and says, you can't talk for a week. And the donkey gets all excited and runs off, galloping away. I told you, I know I was right. I knew I was right. And the tiger looks at the lion and goes like, what the hell? What? The grass is green. You know it's green. I know it's green. Look, it's green. Why am I being punished? And the lion looked at the tiger and said, do you know the grass is green? And he said, yes. Well, then what are you arguing with an ass for? If you know the grass is green, what are you arguing with them for? And the reason I gave you consequences is because, number one, you're arguing with an ass. And number two, if you know it's green, what does it matter what he thinks? You're not going to change his mind. He's going to think what he wants. Like, Be careful what you disagree, and you're going to die on a hill for what? Be careful about what you dig your heels in for. My sons, I got 3 teenage sons, and when they were little, they would argue, and the youngest one, he's 14, and they still argue sometimes about the color of the bowl they're eating their cereal out of. I took the yellow bowl. Yeah, but I want the yellow. It doesn't freaking matter. It's what you're going to put in it is going to taste exactly the same out of the blue or the green or the red bowl as it does out of the yellow. What are you yipping at each other for? And I look at the older ones and go, why are you arguing with him? You know better than he does that it's going to taste the same. He knows it too, but you're supposed to be the older, more mature one. So some tips on how do I disagree without being disagreeable? What are some ideas? We're going to talk about this extensively because I think a lot of us need to understand, hey, I need those tools. I need some ideas. How do I, because again, nobody's going to agree 100% with anybody else. They're just not. We're different human beings. We have different experiences and different things we know or think we know, and things that we've experienced, things we've been exposed to. There's no way we're going to agree about everything. So then I need some tools to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. So, and you're going to want to write these down. So write them down. Find common ground. Okay, so we disagree about that. Find something else. With John and I, that one topic in terms of U.S. politics, we disagree vehemently on. But everything else, we've got lots of common ground. Lots and lots and lots of it. And so we focus there. We don't spend a lot of time talking politics because we know it's just going to wind each other up. Find common ground is number one. Number two, support and praise, genuine praise. Don't blow sunshine up somebody's butt. But you know what? We need to support each other. You can support their opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but you can support it. We can support each other's opinion and give compliments, genuine compliments. There's always something to give somebody a compliment for. Always, always, always. Ask questions. We do this thing where we listen to respond. We listen, and as soon as we hear something, oh, I need to say this, we're not listening anymore because we don't want to forget what we want to say. So now we're listening to respond instead of listening to hear the person, listening to understand or to try and understand. And the best way, one of the easiest ways to do that is to ask questions. Don't do it like some people do where they're, I'm just asking questions. They're throwing mud at the wall. They're throwing shade all over the place. They're doing gaslighting, and but don't do that. Ask questions that are logical and make sense for the situation. And you're asking questions to hear an answer, to understand their position. Maybe there's something that they know that you don't know. Maybe they've have experienced something you have not experienced. Maybe they have insight you don't have. And maybe once they share it with you, Once they share that perspective with you, maybe it changes yours a little bit. It may not overhaul it, but maybe it changes it a little bit. Maybe it does overhaul it. Oh, I never considered that way before. Wow, you know what? I need to think about that some more. So ask questions to understand. So you're listening then to understand. Something that's number 3. Number 4, and again, this is very basic, very, very basic. Look and act pleasant. Right? How basic is that? Don't snarl at them. Don't look angry. Don't look like you're pissed off at the world. What does your standing bitch face look like? Pay attention to it. If you don't know what it is, stand in front of a mirror and look away so that you can, okay, what's a normal neutral face look like? And you put it on your face and then you look in the mirror, holy crap, that's not what I expected. Maybe you have no idea what your standing bitch face looks like. But look and act pleasant. People don't want to be around a-holes. They just don't. They just don't. So pay attention to how you look and how you're acting. Act pleasant. And when I say that, I don't mean put on a mask and play a character. That's not what I'm saying. Don't act in the sense of, theater. Act in the sense of how you're presenting yourself. Present yourself in a pleasant way. 5, reframe the situation. Powerful, powerful, powerful one, which is essentially changing your lens, the way you're looking at the situation. But really powerful. Reframe it. Can I look at this a different way so that it doesn't frustrate me or piss me off? Can I reframe it so that I can see their perspective better? Can I reframe it so that I'm learning to understand their position? Can I reframe it so I understand my position in respect to what they're saying? Will that help me agree without being disagreeable? Yes. Because it makes me sound like I'm trying to understand them. Reframe the situation. Change your lens. You hear me talk all the time about lens. That is a choice we make. What lens we're using to look at the situation, that's a choice we make. We make that choice. That's not on the other person. We choose to look at the situation, however we're looking at it. I lost count of what numbers they are. That's reframe. Recognize critical emotions. Critical emotion. So when you realize the other person's getting pissed off or upset or frustrated or angry, pay attention to your audience. Listen. Have awareness of what's going on. Realize that that's what's happening. Pay attention to the fact they're not happy. Don't just keep talking and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and being obtuse to what's going on, because that's not helpful. Because at some point, you're going to want to try and to be able to get along or have any kind of conversation, you're going to want for them to be able to interact with you. Recognize and become aware. That means raising your EQ. Can you do that? Do you know how to do that? Are you effective at that? Do you have emotional mastery? And that doesn't mean it's perfect. We're not looking for perfect. We're looking for a little bit better today, incremental better today than we were yesterday. A little bit better. There's no such thing as perfection. That's BS. That just sets you up for failure over and over and over, and then you get frustrated and stop trying. Then it becomes an excuse. Well, I'm not going to try because you know what, I can't do it anyway. Now I don't even try anymore. And that's BS too. It's not perfection. We're not trying perfection. But mastery doesn't mean perfection. Mastery just means, you know what, I've done it long enough. Does LeBron James ever miss a free throw? Yes. Does he have mastery of his body to be able to do free throws? Yes. But nobody's 100%. Nobody's 100%. That's why you keep trying and you keep practicing and you keep putting effort into that. Recognize critical emotions. I'm going to stop. I have to take another quick break, but agree to disagree is a common one that a lot of us talk about, that you've probably heard or that you've maybe taught or used yourself. Agree to disagree. Go, you know what? We need to put a pin in it. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. I'm not going to see your perspective, or I'm not going to agree with you. You're not going to agree with me. but I don't want to blow up the relationship. So you know what? Let's just put a pin in it. Let's just agree to disagree and move on with our life. The call to action today has a piece that's connected to that. So don't go anywhere, because at the end of near the end of the show, when we do our wrap and our call to action, I've got a call to action that includes something that will address that or help address that. As we go to a quick break here, again, shout out to Jose Escobar, as the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about the morning and evening routine mastery program that's changing people's lives dramatically. This program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up your free strategy session today with Jose Escobar, and you can reach him at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. That's a program that literally, that's not hyperbole. It is changing people's lives in a radical way. And if you're not doing something as a routine in the morning and the evening, you're not maximizing. Don't fool yourself. Matter of fact, you are fooling yourself if you don't have a morning and evening routine that you do day after day after day, at least 5 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week. We look at the weekend. Today's Friday. We're going into the weekend. I heard somebody recently say to me, weekend, not W-E-E-K, not the end of the week, but W-E-A-K, end, weekend, because we relax and we take our foot off the gas. Sometimes that's not what we need. Sometimes we need to have a power end. We need to push through. And I'm not saying don't do personal self-care. You know me well enough to know I jump up and down on that soapbox. We gotta do self-care. We have to, but we need to build it into our routine and into our systems. We need to have it built in. It needs to be a habit. As we go to break, do not forget, again, part self-care, pause and breathe. Make sure you pause and breathe to ground yourself, to refocus, and to be ready for the next segment. We're going to talk some more. I'm going to give you some more tips on how to agree without being disagreeable. Massively important tool to be able to help our relationships and increase our EQ. So as we go to break here, pause and breathe. You're with the long bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
The Connected Leaders Academy is the #1 fastest growing networking community for entrepreneurs. CLA assembles high-level leaders, titans of industry, and business owners under one roof. If you're an entrepreneur looking to grow personally, professionally, scale your influence, develop skills, and expand your network exponentially, the CLA is where you need to be. Want on to more podcasts and shows, speak on more stages, sell more books, products, and services, get more leads, referrals, acquire new clients, develop lifelong friendships, and more. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. Contact Jose Escobar on Facebook or check out www.claglobalsummit.com for more information.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You're with Gordon D. Melville, the long-bearded guy on Inspired Choices Network. I'm going to run through some of these really quick because there's a whole whack of them on here. Tips on how to disagree without being disagreeable. But I want to touch really quick on a bunch of these. Be mindful of your tone. That's EQ. Be mindful of the tone you're using. A lot of us and guys have a negative tone even when we don't mean to be. So be very mindful of what the tone you're using. Active listening. Have active listening. What does that mean? That's an EQ skill. That's an emotional quotient skill. Active listening, being engaged and connected, eye contact, and responding in a I hear you, yeah, or asking questions about what you just heard. This is what I think I heard. Is clarifying. Is that what I heard? That's active listening. Adding a touch of love is a huge deal. It doesn't say over. Add a touch of love. Add a little bit. Have some compassion, some empathy. Use I statements. So express your feelings and thoughts without blaming or accusing the other person. No blame. You're not accusing. You're not attacking them. Using I statements. So I'm referring to what my experience has been, what I'm feeling. Don't use you statements. You people. Well, excuse me? People, the wall come up. Instantly they get hostile and defensive. Do your research. Know what the hell you're talking about. Don't be arguing and fighting with people. Don't disagree with someone when you don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's crazy. Do your research. Don't get personal. Don't attack them. You may disagree about what their thought process is or what their opinion is or what they're thinking at the moment. Don't get personal. It's not who they are, it's what they're thinking. Be mindful of your body language. Watch what's happening with your body. Are you being aggressive with the way you're standing or sitting or leaning? Body language. Be really mindful of that. Know your non-negotiables. What will you give on? What will you not give on? What are things that you'll give up? Or okay, you know what? I can buy that for $1. I can get there. I can connect there. Kind of like finding common ground, right? What are the things that you just will not negotiate on? Assume best intent. If we go into it thinking, oh my God, they're just being nasty to me. They're just being hostile and nasty for the sake of being hostile and nasty. Assume best intent. Know when to take a break. Know when to go, you know what? We gotta put a pin in. We gotta stop. Because if we continue to talk right now, we're blow up all over the place. And I don't want to do that to the relationship. Can we take a break? Know when to take a break. Know when to stop. And then as far as tips, there was a few business and tech ones, tips, and there's a couple of biblical ones. For my biblical and again, for my spiritual people, choose your battles is a biblical concept. Choose your battles. Be gracious. Again, use a little bit of love. That's what that, be gracious. Listen more, talk less. Mom used to say, Gord, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in proportion. Sometimes I could and sometimes I couldn't. But you know what? It went through my head. Hey, listen twice as much as you talk. But that's a biblical concept. Think before you speak. We joke about, well, I don't like to think about before I speak because I want to be just as shocked and in wonderment as the rest of you about what's coming out of my mouth. We got to stop and think before we open our mouth. Stop and give it some thought before. Take a pause. The power's in the pause, in the ability to be able to pause. Stimulus, pause, respond. It's a biblical idea. And then act in humility. Not false humility, not being a doormat. Don't do that, but have some humility, act in humility. Those are biblical tips on how to disagree without being disagreeable. And then in business and tech, practice active listening. We talked about, don't take it personally. We talked about, don't just oppose your counterpart. In sales, a lot of times people are pre-programmed to push back and fight. From the car business, people would come in and I would say to them, you don't have to buy today, do you? Instead of most of my counterparts, almost every single one would say, hey, you're going to buy today? You're going to buy today, right? And if you don't say yes, they don't give you the numbers. They don't give you the price of your trade, with the value of your, like they don't give you anything. Are you going to buy today? You're going to buy today? You're going to buy today? And I would run it in the other direction and go, hey, you don't have to buy today, do you? And it always took them back a little bit. Right? It always set them back. Well, no, But to my point about they're trained to push back. They're pre-programmed to fight with us. And when I would say that to people, sometimes once in a while, I get someone to go, yeah, I've got to buy today. And when I would go, oh, that's awesome. Great. Well, we got a lot to do then, because we got to find your car. We got to get it clean. We got to get it registered with the DMV. We got to put the plates on. We got to get your insurance transferred. We got all this stuff to get done. Paperwork, what? And they're like, okay, wait. Now, some of them went, yes, that's exactly what I need to have happen. But most of them, more than 90% went, well, I don't need it today, because I called their bluff. Don't just oppose because that's the way we're trained. That's the default is to push back. The default is to push back. Don't do that. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Get all your facts straight. Sometimes stimulus, pause, respond. Sometimes we don't have all the information. Don't go off all half-cocked. I've got this and there's that and there's all, and I get all excited and freaked out and pissed off and angry and whatever, and blow up the relationship, and I say things and do things that I can't take back. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make your life easier. Take a half a second and pause and think about what it is that do I have the facts right? Do I know what I'm talking about? Is this actually correct? Do I know that for a fact that that's what, and you know what, if it is, if the grass, I know the grass is green, then what am I arguing with them for? If they're vehemently pushing back on me, you know what? I'm not going to argue with them. I may win that battle. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not going to win the battle, because at the end of the day, I'm going to lose the war. I'm going to lose that friendship. I'm going to lose the ability to interact in a positive way with that counterpart or that colleague or that peer at work or in my family. Now I can't talk to them. We can't get together. They can't. Why? Because I put this wedge in between us. For what? Because I wanted to be right. Because my ego wouldn't step back and take a break for a second. I thought I knew what I was talking about. I didn't have all the facts, but you know what? I wanted to be right. So I just kept pushing. Boom. Oh, crap. Boop. That's not good. What have I done? And you make it hard to go to work. You make it hard to get along with the people in your tribe, in your community, in your family. We wonder why stuff blows up. A lot of it, I keep saying it's our choice. We have infinite choice. I tell my sons, you've got infinite choice. You can make whatever choice you want. Choose to be intentional. Choose to act in grace. Choose to have some humility. Choose to reframe a situation so that, you know what, I'm not going to blow this up for that. As we got to take another break. As we go to this break, a couple things real quick. If any of this resonates with you on any level, or you hear stuff that you go, you know what, I know people that need to hear this. I know guys that need to hear this. Anybody can watch the show or listen into the show. Anybody can do that. My avatars are entrepreneurial men and pro athletes. And so if you know either one of those things, anybody that's in that space, bring them, ask them to plug in, refer them to me. I have one-on-one mentorship. I've got group. I've got a Box Inside Out program coming again, a cohort. And again, I only need 20 guys. I'm only going to let 20 guys into that. And it fills up just like that over and over and over. I can be hired. I'm going to Atlanta at the end of September to be a keynote of 300 to 500 guys in a room. Awesome. Honored to be in that space. And you want more information about that? Let me know. Reach out to me, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. I'll send you all the details. It's in Atlanta. The other thing is this book. Watch my little alligator there. This book, if I can get it without the shine on it, Your Relationship Roadmap, came out a few weeks ago. Went #1 bestseller. I won an award for it. It's very good on relationships, tips. Me and some friends got together and we what advice would you give to somebody that's looking to get married, somebody that's a newlywed, somebody that's struggling in their relationship? And it doesn't matter whether it's roommates, married, fiance, married for a long time and struggling, there's some really, really, really good tips in there. And so it just came. I got the boxes yesterday, 2 days ago. So I've got a limited run, a limited edition. I'll autograph and inscribe. They're only $30 Canadian plus $15 of shipping and handling until those 50 are gone. And then the price will go up. So please, if you want to plug into that, you want a copy of that book, let me know. Again, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Real easy to get a hold of me. And then as far as making this program run, I've got 4 openings that for sponsors, people that want to help me keep this message going, people that want to help support. I've got some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sponsors, and I love them. I can't do it without them. I love them. And they're so supportive and they're so encouraging. They're long listeners, but if you want to do that, there's a bunch of different levels. Reach out to me again, the longbearded guy at gmail.com. I can send you there's a 1 page that'll give you all the details of what you need to know. And please help. I'm going to ask outright, please help, because I need that to keep it going and to keep pushing this information out as far as we can get it, to get that engagement. Reach out to me. Again, if you've got comments, questions, concerns, you want to ask stuff, send the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Okay. As we go to break, don't forget to pause and breathe, and don't go anywhere, because we're going to wrap up when we come back. And I've got a call to action that's very cool that ties into all of this, that will help and give you some tools and strategies to be able to help be able to disagree and still not be disagreeable. As we go to break, don't forget to pause and breathe. We'll look forward to seeing you in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Almost done. Can't believe how fast the time goes. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Absolutely. Please reach out to the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. And we're going to do a quick review. I mean, we've gone through a whole bunch of ways and how-tos in terms of tips and ideas in terms of how to disagree without being disagreeable. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some ideas in terms of ways that will, because that's all EQ. That's all ways to be able to improve our lives all the way around. It will improve, or it'll make us better human beings. I had done a different, I'm still doing the 10 million men in by raising their EQ. That's still my mission. But I shifted, or at least articulated. I didn't shift. I articulated in a different way. Them to be the better father, husband, and human being they've always wanted to be. And I think we all want to be better. We all want to be better dads, better husbands, better bosses, better employees. We want to be better human beings, most of us. We want to be able to step up and do that. Some of us can, some of us don't. You've heard me say that a bunch. Don't just have the good intention, actually do something with it. So our call to action this week is to get yourself a copy or find your copy, because I know lots of people that have it. This is called The 4 Agreements. It's by Don Miguel Ruiz. If Sarah, if you can put that title, it's a wisdom book. If you can put that in the chat, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, Miguel. Miguel Ruiz is Ruiz or Z, depending on where you are on the listening from. Find your copy. There's only 4. It's a thin little book, 123 pages. It's short little book. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Why? One of the agreements is agree to disagree. Don't take it personally. Don't let it. So my point is, buy it or find your copy, read it carefully, taking notes, journal from it to make sure, hey, these are things that are sticking out to me, and seeing where you're in need of improvement. Which one of the agreements do you fall down on? Which one of these 4 things do you need to spend some time with? And then commit to yourself that you will make and be that change. That will help. It's a tool. It will help. But tools are only good if we use them. Tools are only good if we actually plug in and exercise with it and use it. So I'm challenging you. Get a copy of the 4 Agreements if you don't already have one. And if you do have it and you've read it before, read it again. Because you're going to look at it different. Since the last time you read it, you're a different human being and you've grown. You're going to see different stuff this time. And then let me know. Reach out and let me know. Hey, Gord, I got the book. This is what's happening with it. This is what I learned from it. Here's what the agreements are, and this is where I need improvement. This is where I need to plug in and be more effective with myself. Hold myself to commitment. Hold myself under covenant to make these changes. Next week, same time, same wonderful place, same happy beard. Next week, we're going to talk about beyond measures, navigating the labyrinth of our worth. Beyond measure, because we have infinite value and worth. So it's beyond measure, navigating the labyrinth of our worth. That's what we're going to talk about next week. So again, bring your journal, bring your friends, come and let's connect. Let's intentionally grow together, right? Intentionally grow together. Don't let it just happen organically, because that's going to just blow you in whatever direction there is. Intentionally grow. Put yourself in a space to intentionally grow. And I hope this is encouraging to you. I hope this is giving you tools and strategies that you need, that you're using. Don't just write it all down and not do anything with it. Write it down and then do something with it. It's a waste. Somebody that illiterate and somebody that doesn't read that can are on the same level. Tragically, they're on the same level. They might not, if they're not reading, and when they can, and they're not, they might as well be. Why did they learn how to read? They're not using it. They have tools to make themselves better, and they're not using it. Actually execute. Be courageous this week. Be unapologetically you. Stand in that empowerment. Make it another great week. Know that I love you. Massive big hugs. Live out you abundantly and with intention. And I'll see you next week. Be unapologetically you. Celebrate you. And we'll see you next week. I love you.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D. Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you